Hi guys! Halloween is coming. If you couldn't tell if you couldn't tell from how I look. And today we're making the first Halloween cake. So the plan is this, and the cake is this. So let's make this little cutie before it's gonna fly away. Let's get started. I have my gray fondant here. I've softened it a little bit, and depending on how soft your fondant is, so you can see mine is not really soft, so I don't need a lot of phthalo powder. I'm gonna sprinkle about 1/4 of a teaspoon on the fondant, and this will help the phthalo powder to the fondant to harden faster, and also that means that the parts that you will be making, they will be hard and not so easy to break. Also, I'm going to add a little bit of the icing sugar, so the cornstarch and icing sugar mix. I'm using 50-50 ratio, and now mixing that in. The amount of fondant that you need to use depends on the size of the cake that you're making. So I'm making a small cake, and I have about 200 grams of the gray fondant here. Now I'm going to divide it into pieces. So I need quite a big part for the wings. So I think I'm going to divide it into two first. So I'm going to use half and half for the two wings. And then I also need quite a big part for the legs and a smaller part for the ears. So this part I'm gonna divide into three parts, and then use one for the ears, and this will be the feet. Now we can start modeling. So the first thing I would suggest to do is the wings, because we want them to dry the hardest, so that you can actually, so that they are stable for the cake. You can make them a day before as well if you want. For the wings we will also need two wooden skewers. So start to roll out the fondant. Also make the wings as big as you need depending on the size of the cake. So I have one rolled out, and I'm gonna roll out the second one right away. I'm not gonna use a stencil, so they're not gonna be identical, but I want them to be about the same size. So about the same. And now first just make one side even. So this is the side that's going to go on the cake. And then what you can do, using the skewer, you can draw the wing. So I'm not using a stencil, but it helps having a picture of the cake or the wing that you're making. So I'm gonna add in the description box a link to the picture that I'm using, so the drawing. And now I'm just gonna cut it out with a sharp knife. Here you also don't have to worry about how even the cuts are, because you can still model the sides after you've cut it. So now that I've cut it out, I'm just gonna even the sides so that they look nice. And once you're happy with the wing, just actually before we do that, we don't need to use the whole skewer, so this is quite big, so I'm just gonna model it this way so that I have a part that will pierce through the cake, so this should be enough, and then till about here I want the skewer. I'm going to put it so this way, not this way, because I think then it's going to keep the wing in place best if it's a bit like this, so not straight but in this angle. So just going to cut that now and then pierce it through the wing. Do this with patience and slowly so that you don't break it. And I'm just gonna even the surface a little bit so that don't see where the skewer is. Then I have the two other pieces, the two big pieces, so the ones for the legs, the feet. And I'm going to just, well, first soften it because it's hardened a little bit, so if you don't want the pieces to get really hard, you can wrap them in cling film while you're making, so you don't have the pressure of the time. Then just roll it, pushing hard so you get it really smooth. And then just pressing so that I get the other side even. So that's the part that's going to attach to the cake. And then I'm just gonna model it. Then we are going to use a wooden skewer to make the shape. So like this. And then do the same with the second foot. Then I have the last part here, which is the smallest, and I'm just gonna divide it into two, and we're going to model the ears out of this. You can either do it completely with your hands, or you can use a rolling pin and cut the ears out. So I'm just making the ear shape with my fingers. And then I have a skewer that I'm gonna put in the ear, again to give it a bit more stability, and then also it's easier to apply on the cake. And then we are also gonna add a pink part on the ear. So I have the ears ready now, and I want to add a pink part here. So I'm gonna take a little piece. I think I need even less, so just a really tiny piece. And again, you can either roll it out or just do it with your fingers. So I'm just gonna model it to the similar shape that the ear is. And now that it's ready, I'm gonna brush this part here where I want to attach it with a little bit of water, and then just attach that part there. And then we are going to make the cheeks. So to the pink fondant, you don't need to add tallow powder because we don't need it to get hard. And I'm using a piping nozzle, a big one, but if you have a round cutter, you can use a round cutter. Now I'm just gonna roll out some pink fondant. And cut out two pieces. Then the last thing we need to do with the pink fondant is to make the nose. the last things we need to make are the mouth with the teeth and the eyes. So first I'm gonna make the mouth. So take a little piece of black fondant and just start rolling it out. It also helps to have the other parts in front of you so you can compare the size to the parts that you've made already. So I have the mouth. Now I'm just going to roll out the eyes. And if you want to the eyes, you can also add some eyelashes. So I have some little pieces of fondant here and I'm just rolling one side of it to make it sharp. I'm not gonna glue these on because I'm just gonna attach them to the cake like this, so I don't have to worry about the pieces to fall off. I will have the recipe for this chocolate cake and the buttercream that I'm using in description box. I've made some buttercream and I have colored it light gray, so similar color to the parts that I've made out of fondant. And now I'm just going to spread it over my cake. Who's that? Our little bat friend. I hope you liked this tutorial, and if you did like this cutie, please don't forget to leave him a thumbs up. Her. Please don't forget to leave her a thumbs up and subscribe for some more cute tutorials and delicious recipes. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye until next time.